All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for the second day of October 2018. Well, in this year of illumination, we have a 3-day, which is 3 is considered catalytic. It's about triplicity, mind, body, and spirit, things like that. Unification, wholeness. So if we're talking mind, body, and spirit, the idea is to have all that in balance, isn't it? I actually prefer to have spirit, informing a little bit more. Maybe have the balance a little more heavily weighted on spirit. Well, if you haven't been here before, thanks a lot for stopping by. I'd love you to hit subscribe, just 'cause I don't monetize this thing or anything. I just do this because I want to. But I host a blog over at imsteppingaside.com called Stepping Aside. It's a witch blog. It has some tarot stuff and some rune stuff. It has a grimoire. I'm an herbalist, so it has a materia medica on it. It has some cannabis stuff that's on there, Reiki, stuff about being an empath. So it has a little stuff for everybody. Whatever you're interested in. You might find some things you're interested in at it. Sometimes there's a little ranting. But I'm a crone witch now, so I have a few things to say. So you can skip over those if you don't want to see that. But you never know. Sometimes it's food for thought. I do a catch-all once in a while called Witch Notes. And so if it's been a particularly interesting week, I might do a Witch Notes once a week. I'll do that from time to time, and it's just sort of a catch-all of things I've noticed or I'm a little bit irritated about. That's the thing about witches. We notice everything. Drives my husband crazy. Doesn't understand why I notice all the things that I do. It's like, dude, you know why. But we've been married for 39 years, so, you would think that nothing would surprise him. And in truth, it probably doesn't. So I shuffle a little bit. I talk a little bit while I do that so that you just don't have to sit and watch me shuffle. You're like, what is she doing? What is that noise? And then I count 13. Since I was born on the 13th, I count 13 to choose the card. And then after that, I'll choose a rune. So let's get started. I'll count 13. Oh, well, we have the Three of Wands on this 3 days, so that's kind of cool. Wands is the fire element, so we're talking about will. We see a man looking out over the great expanse in front of him. He's likely on a journey. We could say of integration of mind, body, spirit, maybe. Our will is about our creative presence and our authentic presence and our ability to manifest. And so, we want to do that in a way that's balanced. We're seeing a lot of we think in terms of polarity. We think of masculine and feminine polarity, right? If you take the male and female, the gender, out of that, I think it's a little less triggering, maybe, because it sort of gives the impression of active versus passive, or strength versus weakness, in a way. Projective versus receptive. But we're more than that. We're not just that. We're that here perhaps in form. We struggle with those issues of polarity, the us versus them societally is a good example of that. But in truth, we have to be able to synthesize spirit into that process. And spirit needs to inform that process and make us understand that we aren't just simply either or, but we're actually this triplicity of mind, body, spirit. And that the polarity or the duality of form is more of a challenge, really, and sort of keeps us, I think, from keeping that in alignment, maybe. I don't know. But this could indicate, if he's looking out over the horizon, perhaps he's trying to figure out, where do I go from here? You know, maybe he's exploring a new career, or he's exploring a new adventure or something, but there's something new on the horizon. But whatever that is, whatever he intends to manifest, he needs to do it in balance and understand that it's more than the duality found in the Two of Wands, okay, where it's a similar scene, only you see the same guy basically looking out between two staffs or two wands. I'm a martial artist, so these are staffs. You know, these aren't wands. I don't know why they did it this way, but anyway, other decks actually have wands. But anyway, but what he's doing is he's moved from the two, which is a decision, again, in balance. I'm going to go and I'm going to go do something here. And now he's moving into the place where he's looking for expansion. He's looking to expand that manifestation into something greater. But he knows that it's not just about the duality or polarity of masculine and feminine, or the receptive and the projective, or the passive and the active principle within. But that now it's time in the manifestation to allow spirit to inform that process. And so we get the third leg of the whole thing, right? But let's draw another card and see if we can inform a little bit about that process. Wouldn't it be interesting if I drew the Two of Wands? It's like, yeah, you know, he made a decision. And see, the interesting part about that is in the Two of Wands, he's actually looking to the past a little bit to inform. When you see them look to the left on the card, that's the past, to the right is the future. And here, after the decision is made, now he's ready to go and move into the actual manifestation of it. But let's just draw one more card and see if we can get a little bit more information about this. Well, the King of Cups, which, you know, there you have an authority figure that is emotionally based. You know, Cups is emotions. Being a court card, I'm going to do another card. Now, he's looking to the future. He's sitting in his throne, holding a chalice in one hand, or maybe two chalices. Let me see if my magnifying glass will work on this. No, that's a scepter. So, and his throne is actually sitting on the water. So you can see that he's a little. King of Cups is someone who, I mean, he can be benevolent, he can be, you know, a positive, nurturing guy, but he can also be a little, you know, passive aggressive. He's not real grounded, you know, when he's sitting on the water that's kind of moving around, he's not very grounded. And so we want to make certain that we're not heading in a direction that is unrealistic, or you know, you want it to be something that's where will can actually manifest something. And you don't want it to be emotionally based. You want it to be something, unless it's something that you want to include nurturing in. You know, perhaps you're manifesting something that involves that. And so you need to remember that side of self. But when I see the King of Cups, I don't know, maybe it's my own personal bias, but I never get a very good feeling when that card comes up. Let's try one more. Well, we have the star, which is the 17th card, numerologically an 8 of the, yeah, I know, Cortana, you're here to help. All right. I don't know how that happened, but that came up. Newer laptop. I don't know what's going on with this thing. Anyway, we have the star. We see the large star above her head. That one's considered a 10. And you see seven stars around it, surrounding it. These are about hopes and wishes and dreams coming true. The whole notion of when you wish upon a star came from this. But you see purity and strength. She's pouring both her essence onto the land and into the water. Sometimes it looks like she's pouring from one to, it depends on the deck you choose, but sometimes it looks like she's pouring blessings from above. She's the blessed conduit between higher self and form, between higher self and ego. She's inspiration and hope. She brings good health and selflessness, and about our dreams becoming a reality. So perhaps the King of Cups represents more about the structure of our dreams, and perhaps our dreams are about, you know, instead of having our will being so prominent. And sometimes when will is manifested, it's manifested in authoritarian ways. And so perhaps the King of Cups is really telling us, hey, soften it up a little bit. Understand that it isn't just about you, that you need to include others into your greater aspect of self, that, you know, when you see other people, they aren't other people, they're really just the other side of self. If creator is all that is, then everything is an aspect of the creator. So what you're seeing are different aspects of the creator, even ones you don't happen to be all that comfortable with. You're just seeing how life can be in tangible form. So this is interesting, isn't it, to see this card? Dreams becoming reality, and here he is trying to manifest just that. So whatever it is that we're going to try and do here, whatever we have in the offing, whatever we're planning to do, what today's reading is telling us that it's going to be successful if we keep our will in balance with our emotions, perhaps. We don't want to let the will get carried away, do we? That's when all kinds of funny things start to happen. All sorts of negative things start to happen, doesn't it? Well, what I'm going to do to pull the rune is I craft all my runes unless they're made of stone, except for some beach rock that I found at the coast one day. Little tiny flat stones, and I thought, oh my God, runes. And so I haven't carved into them because I'm afraid to. They're kind of soft feeling. And so I just drew on those. But the rest of my runes I cut from trees that I have, the branches of trees that I have. And this particular set that I'm using for all of this is a set I did from a hawthorn tree, which is considered a witch and fairy tree. So what I do is I let the runes fall through my hands, and whichever one is left, that's the rune I choose, even when making bind runes. Oh my goodness. Well, we have Isa. Hagalas, Nathis, and Isa are runes 9, 10, and 11 of the Elder Futhark, and these are considered Norn runes. Isa is considered the rune of the static realm. From the Norn of the static realm, I believe her name was Verdandi, I believe. And I'll look just to be sure. But it's the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark, aligning with our year of illumination. But yeah, Verdandi of the static realm. Magically, Isa freezes things into place. So if you were to use Isa in a bind rune, you could use it to help stop something or prevent something, bring something to a standstill. So it could be used in a binding rune for that respect. If you're going to bind something, you could draw it on the forehead if you had a fever. It's thought to be not just water but ice. So bringing things, freezing things in place. But basically, it's also about alignment of mind, body, spirit. And it's about integration of spirit into form. And so when you align in source presence, when you align in spirit, you're aligning in the energies of Isa. And so what this is telling us then, how this integrates ultimately with the Three of Wands, is that in a sense he's standing in Isa, isn't he? And he's allowing all of that integration to then inform whatever he's going to manifest into the world. I mean, he's standing in Isa, isn't he? So that's interesting. So we have an interesting alignment both with today being a 3 with the Three of Wands. We have the strength of the star. We have the reminder of the King of Cups to allow for our emotional presence to inform as well, to allow nurturing, whatever, nurturing the project, nurturing one another, understanding, whenever I see a card that shows an expanse, someone looking out over something, no matter what it is, to me, it means the greater unified presence of all of us. And that you're not just thinking in terms of self, but self in others, and how we manifest this world together and what we want that to look like. Perhaps a little more nurturing than it's been. So, well, that's an interesting one for today, isn't it? Well, gosh, thanks so much for stopping by. I hope you come back again. Again, hit subscribe if you like, and come back. I'm Jan Erickson with Stepping Aside. This has been Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow, and blessed be.